Here we go. Good morning. And welcome back to this session or this love talk with Amish Matchmakers as we come together. So get that nice cozy fire in there. And yeah, woman's perspective. Okay.
A little closer.
Yes, be glad to. All right, so let's go over some questions. So the men we're talking about this week, I decided to create a theme for the week, and so this week we wanted to discuss the relationship. Well, first of all, we are Amish Matchmakers, Carlos and Chantel. Got to do our intro. We help Amish singles find godly spouses, create epic marriages, and develop legacies that are rooted in faith and freedom. And so today this week, the theme is about dreams and goals. That was appropriate as we look ahead to the new year, 2026, that's ahead of us. And when you plan ahead, you do well. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we're planning ahead and helping you to plan ahead. And so as men, um, I challenged the men this morning to how do we utilize confidence, communication, and commitment in order to reach our goals? What does that look like to apply it? What does it look like to do it? Not just talk about it, but do it. So the questions I have for you today are based on that. Um, so how do men go after their goals? And what we're going to approach this week is first step is doing it in yourself. A lot of people think, oh, I do it for others. Yeah, that's good. But again, are you doing it for yourself first? And this is where it leads to then even attracting a woman for a girlfriend, right? Attracting them to continue on and move forward, to have a wife, and then children and leading your children well. So it's kind of that stair step in life. And how does it connect to your goals and dreams? Well, getting married is a goal. Having a relationship is a goal. So but I wanted the men to hear from the woman's perspective. What happens in a woman's heart when a man leads himself first, like before trying to lead her or trying to lead the family? Um, Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's a thing. So how does a woman feel when she sees a man confidently going after his goals too?
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back in line with the things that we've talked about
Mm-hmm.
already.
Yeah.
But that it relieves the pressure because our design, this is my belief,
Your understanding.
my understanding, but our design as women, you know, biblically speaking, we're the help, right? So we come alongside and support in areas that are lacking, if you will. Um, you know, when God created man on his own was not complete,
It's good.
right? So our design as women is that completion, is that support. I like to visualize it, not as we're less than, but that we are actually more of like the backbone, right? If we think of the human body and we think of our spine, our skeleton, without our spine, we can't do anything.
Yeah, it's true.
Um, Not to say that a man can't do anything, but a man is not complete without what women bring to the table. And so, you know, And it's not vice versa, right? There's strengths that we both bring to the table. But so I say that just to frame the understanding of design, where if a woman doesn't have a man, you know, she's going to do her best to handle whatever she needs to handle, to embrace the strength that she needs to embrace, that isn't necessarily her design. And a man will do the same. But when you're looking at God's design for us, man, woman in marriage, um, our natural design is to come alongside and support that body, okay, that one flesh. We do it with all of our unique gifts and talents. So when you talk about goals and a man taking leadership and designing, having a vision and going after it, it is a woman's natural design to support that and to join him in that vision. And it relieves the pressure of, I've got to do things on my own. I've got to create this on my own. Because again, while we can and we will, it's not our actual design to do so. And, women may argue all kinds of things, well, what about my vision and all of those things? That's all fine and dandy. That none of that is being discounted in any way, shape, or
That's good.
form.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the natural design
Mhm.
as we were created and what it means for a woman to have the ability to come in and support. If a man doesn't have a vision and is not moving towards something, it causes insecurity. It causes insecurity in the relationship, insecurity of, our foundation, our future, all of those things. Then we go into the mode of, we have to take care of it, right? So then we take on far more than is actually designed for our shoulders as women. Our shoulders were not actually designed. And coming from a place of being a single mom, having experienced that, um, I can tell you that, it's not our design. We were not meant to carry the full picture, the full load. We were meant to support in that one flesh. So it's highly valuable and attractive, and brings deep, meaningful security when a man is confidently going after his goals.
Yes. So good. So this week, dealing with that and goals for yourself first, and man, we yeah, we often will coach and mentor people and singles. And the one thing that we do is we tell them, hey, put a date on when you want to be engaged. Like, what does that look like? When do you want to be married? When do you want to be engaged? When do you want to start dating? Like putting time frames on things so that they're progressing. And, you know, I, I'm wondering, is that intriguing for women? Like, men are so fearful because what we talk about is having confidence to do it. Number one. Number two is then, can I articulate? Can I communicate? Can I say even to a woman, hey, I'm planning on being engaged by February of 2026. And the woman's like, what? Like, I'm talking about singles talking to other singles, and a man that says that, what's that do to a woman? Does it make her feel like you're weird or you're strange, or like, because men need to hear this stuff. Like, we constantly coach men to do this, and women, by the way. Women seem to be more easily okay with it. Like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Versus men are like, no way. And especially if a man does do it, oh no, his pride and ego gets in the way where he would never say it to a woman. He can't do that. He should just do it. He shouldn't have to talk about it. Like,
But I think all of that comes from this whole other people's opinion,
right.
society, you know, your upbringing, your family, your community, whatever, the judgment is there's this crazy judgment on, your time frame. Oh, you need to be engaged for X amount of time, or you know what I mean? Oh, they've only known each other. They don't really know each other, you know? So there's all of those things that, it's just like anything. Gosh, I'm talking with, mothers who just have babies, our daughter who's pregnant, and there's so much information out there. We have so much information in this world right now that can just cause confusion.
Overload.
It's overload. It's like you can't even see straight. And I was thinking back to that, like back in the day, all we had was the information that we learned from our parents and the elders, or a community or a family. That's it. But now we've got everybody and their mother's opinion, every troll on social media, every ad that's being fed to you. My goodness, you show interest in something and you're being fed thousands of it. Like we are in an overload of information. So you have all of that, plus you have society's rules, you have cultural rules, you have all of this, politically correct rules. You have like so much that we can't even see that really when we get back down to the basics, like relationships are about relationships. It's about you and I connecting outside of anybody else and their bullshit. Like, so for me personally, your question, how does that sound to a woman? I laugh because it's a glimpse of confidence, even if it does feel insane, right? Because it's not on my radar or my trajectory. I mean, you were insane. You know, he's asking me a question about, who I'm attracted to, or do I always date black men? And you know what I mean? And, my response was like, well, I just like somebody with a little more soul, right? And this dude shrugs his shoulders, mind you, as just going through a divorce, broken, like in every sense of the word, an insecure basket case. Okay. And yet his response was to shrug his shoulders and say, I got soul. That was insane. I had never heard that, number one, from a white man who, you know what I mean? Because there's stereotypes, there's all kinds of things. And I had experienced insecurity from white men because I had dated black men, right? So there's that whole thing. But so when there's a glimpse of that kind of confidence, it is very attractive. It is like it's a hook. So in negotiation, we've trained and studied in negotiation, right? There's an anchor. So that was an anchor point for me from Carlos that said, wow, man, that is an intriguing uh, bit of confidence that really like kind of got me in my core. And so I see this whole thing as similar, because right now everybody's insecure about marriage, everybody's insecure about relationship, everybody's so to actually declare I'm going to be married by February 2026. Okay, that's intriguing. To me, that's intriguing. That's like, okay, bro, let's see how this rolls. How you gonna do that?
Especially exactly if you're on a coffee get together with a girl.
Like, what do you mean by that?
You're pursuing a woman and you say something like that. It's like,
and then it's also
you got some balls, man.
Yeah,
say that in
for
front of
sure.
someone.
But then it's also if you're really developing a friendship and you're getting to know somebody, it's also an accountability point, because if you pull some shit where you're not willing to communicate, and I have the awareness that you declared that you want to be married, honey, I think that we need to kind of take some action towards that too, right? Meaning we can't disconnect if we're triggered. We can't, run from a hard conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it opens the door. Number one, it's intriguing. Number two, it's attractive. Number three, it's a vulnerable place that I have an understanding now of your goal. And so I get to either as a friend come alongside you, or I can see that attraction and that intrigue, and I can, maybe make a move towards that in.
All right. So I'm going to put it out there.
Okay.
Confidence. We're talking about confidence, communication, commitment, the 3 C's, and how it affects your relationships and how it affects setting goals. And I'm going to challenge those watching right now. What is a relationship goal that you can put out there? If you're single, I want you to put it in the chat. If you're bold enough, this is your first step right here, right now, male or female, if you're single, to put when you want to be engaged by. Is it 12 weeks? Is it sometime in 2026? Name a month at least and a year that you want to be engaged by. That's boldness. That's confidence. That's courage. Can you follow directions and do that? If you're watching the replay, do it. Put it in the comments. If you're on our YouTube channel, on my Facebook page, or on Chantel's Facebook page, put it out there. That's step one if you're single. Now, what about if you're married and in a relationship? How do you want to take your marriage to the next level? Like, this is some powerful stuff. Seriously, what is the thing you can do? I'm going to tell you, date night. I guarantee if you're challenged in your marriage, I can almost guarantee, not that it's perfect if you have date night, but I'm just saying, if you're not consistent, that's where confidence comes in, communication, consistency. How about being confident of saying, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to go ahead and set an appointment with my spouse, male or female, and what day is your date night? Put it out there, declare it. If there's men watching or women, even from our local community, our churches, I'm calling you out right now, people from our church, so we're friends. What is your new date night? Can you do that? Because I promise you, that's one action step that could set a goal and a target to improve your marriage. Like, we can talk about this stuff all day long, but putting in something into action is where really results come in. She's a master activator. Like, she is, man, she activates the crud out of me and so many others in our community, so many people that we work with. It's amazing. The results that I have are truly because of my bride helping to activate me and call me out. Like, okay, what's the action steps? Okay, what are you going to do? Stop talking and go do it. That's one of her famous things. Stop talking about it and go freaking do it. All right, so now back to goals. But I'm serious. Interaction here in your marriage, in your relationship, even if you have a great marriage, an epic marriage right now, guess what an epic marriage is? It's one that's always improving. So tell me how you're going to improve. We've got some great examples on here. Jesse and Adina Kaufman, who lead a community, single to married. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to upgrade your marriage? Engaged by September 2026. Come on! Sheila, Sheila, Sheila. I'll cheer you on. We'll cheer you on. We got you. All right. Then we get started creating some action steps, right? And I love, Chantel and I talk about this. Men, it's the art of pursuit. Women,
Being willing to be pursued.
that's right. So we'll start putting some stuff out there more about that, which is actually what our morning calls are about, man. So how does a woman feel? We just talked about that. Now let's talk about men's personal goals. Why is it important for a man to know? Because part of setting goals for myself is to understand who I am. We talked a little bit about this identity this morning, how important it is for a man to create an MVP, mission, vision, peculiar, like knowing who he is, what is his mission in life, what goals and targets am I going after? So when a man knows who he is becoming, why is it important for him to do that before he ever tries to guide his girlfriend or guide his wife? Like, does that feel hypocritical to a woman? Like, you're sitting here trying to tell me how to have health goals and you don't even work out. You're sitting here trying to tell me how to eat and you freaking go have Dairy Queen twice a week. You know what I mean? These are crazy examples, but it's real. Like, I think a lot of times Men think, well, I'm supposed to lead and I'm just supposed to tell people what to do. Like there's a certain part of men that sometimes get this weird thing instead of, hey, go do it. Go do it.
Well, I think that's just it, right? And not, I mean, I think like in anything leadership wise, we have to be willing to do what we're talking about.
Yeah. So this is good. I want to word it this way. Which is better for men to say, go do this, this, and this, or to say, join me in doing this, this, and this? Which is better and why to a woman?
Well, it would be the joining, but I think there's also a nuance here, right? It's also not just telling somebody to join me. It's inspiring.
It's good.
It's taking the action yourself and allowing what naturally is by design for the women and the children to come alongside you.
Yes.
So, I think that's kind of, one of the biggest things is, you know, eh, eh, when we talk about leadership, there's so many different types of leaders, right? But I think to me personally, the best kind of leadership is one that leads by example and is, willing to be open enough to understand that naturally by design, your wife and children want to support you in that and be like you, right?
It's good. It's good. They do what we do, not what we say, even when it comes to our spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And look, it goes both ways. It does for a woman and a man. Like a woman can do it as well. However, men, come on, step up. That's what we're designed by our physical makeup as men. Testosterone, a little bit heavier body mass, a little bit heavier muscle mass, the ability to build muscles because of testosterone. Like, are you leading by example and are you willing to step out and do it first?
So I'm going to give a couple examples. Okay. Because there's definitely areas where, you know, we innately push back. Okay. I'm a strong woman. I have a very strong will. And, there's that feeling of when you're being told what to do that you're just like, I don't want to do it because you're telling me what to do. Right. And we've gone through that.
Yep.
We've gone through that, especially, if like,
So then I'm like, peace, see you at the top. I'm going.
well, the thing is that we all have to recognize that, there's, first of all, there's seasons for everything.
Yep.
There's different things. So, I'll give an example. I just remember this was years and years ago, and we've had a number of experiences since then. But years ago, I was it jogging, right? For exercise was jogging. And I don't know if I think I had fallen off a curb or something, twisted my ankle. This is back in Long Beach. And I specifically remember this because I remember Carlos pushing me to get back into exercising because he was exercising. We had a puppy, our Kona girl, and he was jogging with the puppy, with the kids, all those things. And I wasn't ready yet, right? But again, I actually probably was ready, but he was telling me that I needed to go. And so I probably stretched it a week longer not doing it because of the way he was telling me. Right. So, but when he finally figured out that he needed to just shut up and do what he's doing, that I would get it together and go. And I think that's a really important factor to remember. Sometimes we have to recognize human nature and what we're fighting against even sometimes, right? Like it's the how.
Yeah.
And how much greater is it to lead by example and to trust that your partner is going to come alongside you. I'll give you another example. We have a lot of, especially nowadays with your phone, your devices, right? We are on our phone a lot for business, right? And I know that it's a sore spot for some people. Oh, well, she's always on her phone. Oh, well, he's always on his phone, those kind of things, right? I want to challenge you in that too. If you're bitching and complaining that they're always on their phone, there's probably going to be that natural but against. But if you choose to put your phone down, engage in conversation and connection, are they going to really be picking up their phone? I want you to think about that for a second. Like, we have to be aware of, number one, natural human tendencies. And don't bitch and complain if somebody's on their phone if you're constantly on your phone, right? But being willing to set your phone down and lead by example, start asking questions. Even if they are have on their phone and you ask a question, if you ask a question, they're going to have to put their phone down to answer you, to look you in the face, to have connection, right? So, how are you designing your relationship and your connection time as a leader?
It's good.
Are we just going to ignore the person because they're on their phone and then we're just going to complain about it? Or are we going to move towards them,
Proactive.
be proactive
Yeah.
with affection? Because I promise you, she'll put her phone down if you're touching her and interested in her, and vice versa. It's this weird dichotomy that we, just allow distance to create more distance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, anyways.
It's a good word. That's come up. We've had a few people asking that question. So it's real. It's real life things. All right. How does a woman feel when she, oh, wait, we already said it. Why is it important for a man to know who he is becoming? I'm sorry. I'm going through my questions again. Does a woman, this is a good one. Yep. This is a good one to end with. And then tomorrow we can talk, because this is primarily, we've been talking about confidence. Tomorrow we'll get more into how a man can communicate his dreams and goals. We did touch on that a little bit because he said, "Hey, I'm going to be married by this day." Like, that shows confidence, and to be able to articulate that, speak it, declare it is powerful. But does a woman feel more secure when a man has direction? Like any woman, whether she's looking for a man to date, look, or a woman's looking to her husband. Um, we did a little something with the men for our leadership. We all went out to breakfast and we kind of created a strategy and a plan for 2026. And then we brought it back and presented it to the ladies. Like, what does that kind of stuff do to a woman? How does it make her feel more secure when a man has direction? He's like, okay, this is what I believe is best. It's not being controlling. Now, I want you to kind of explain your thoughts on this, because I started doing this because of your recommendation. Like, you felt more secure. You felt more, I don't know. Tell me. Let's talk.
Well, again, it goes back to the same thing that we started off with, is, it relieves the pressure. When you're clear with a direction, and then we can come alongside that and make it happen. I think that's our design, is to like fill in the gaps and making sure that things happen, right? So yeah.
So then, meaning, like, so the man comes to his wife and says, "Hey, I'd like to set these targets," because that's really what direction is. It's just setting a goal, setting a target. And says to his wife, says to his girlfriend, "Hey, this year I'm going to work on my health. Wondering if you're into maybe doing Spartan race. Like, we're going to do a 5K in February." So it's like, "Hey, what are your thoughts on doing a 5K? What are your thoughts on doing a Spartan race? Can we get others involved and make this fun?" It's not about having to be perfect at the physical part of it, but just doing something to unite us as a family and as a community. Like that. Goal, right? I'm setting a goal for myself. I want to do a 5K in February. I want to involve our community. Do you want to be a part of that? Would you want to support that or be in it? Like, to what capacity? See, that's a real live example of what's taking place in 2026, and some of the stuff that us men decided together as leaders that we wanted to create our health goals for the 12-week year and for the whole 2026. We want to create some targets for that, some financial goals, and how we develop those financial goals, and then relationship goals. So again, all these things matter, and we're doing actually events to fulfill those,
Mhm.
right? So that's like creating a direction. Will we hit every single one of them? I don't know. We'll see. We'll do our best. They're a target. That's what I think is important too, is that you set a target, but sometimes it doesn't work out. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, beat yourself up because it didn't work out. So tell me your thoughts
So
on
for
that.
me, it's exciting to have something that you're going towards, and then again having the opportunity to come alongside you in whatever capacity I desire to, want to, whatever. Like, I mean, I have desired to do one of these things, like a tough mutter, for a long time, and I've said it before.
Mhm.
So, it's just um for me, it's fun to see you actually, making that a goal. And but it's, the men doing it together. That's that feels great to know that you're not even reliant on me per se for the goals. It's an invitation to come alongside you. And I think that's where it is. Like, you know,
It's good.
recognizing that men need camaraderie. They need, you know, that fuel of testosterone that comes from, setting goals as men. And so, if we see it as like, oh well, they made a decision and I don't have a say in it, that's actually not really true, because that's not how it was even presented. But it's an opportunity, it's an invitation, and it's whether I'm actually doing a race or not. Like, it's still, we're one flesh. If he's doing it, I have the opportunity to support him in that. I have you know, I'm here cooking food. It's a matter of health goals. It's how are we working on this together? What are my goals within the health goals, right? And so it's just opportunity to say, okay, well, we're prioritizing health, and these are some of the ways that us men decided to set some markers. And then, as the women, as the spouses, um we get to come alongside that, and or participate in it to the extent that we want or desire to. So, for me, that was fun. I
Well,
think
and I
probably the funnest part though was you actually making commitment with men to,
which
take
is good and
action for it.
healthy.
It is very good and healthy because
And women need to do the same. Like
yeah,
women should be collaborating on things too. But then also, it's the beautiful chemistry of coming together, the art of becoming one flesh, and how to do that. Because there's some efficiency in that. Like, oh my goodness, sometimes, and I've been like guilty of this, where I think I've got to process everything with you.
mhm.
And then here we are days later, weeks later. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I felt like I needed to process everything with you. And you're like, no, I trust you. That's where trust comes in, skills and understanding. And it's never about, oh, I'm deciding everything. I'm in control. It's never like that. It's like, hey, I went ahead and mapped out, because it's a skill too. I map out the year. Here's some ideas for health. Here's just some ideas for wealth. Here's some ideas for relationship. Like, we have these three areas we want to do every 12 weeks that we want to hit these targets. Here's what I thought we could do to create some events, which another thing that takes place here is leadership in a community. That's a whole different level too. Like, because we do lead a movement and a community, and more people and other people, we're trying to lead by example. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And just like I'm doing with you, it's like then you and I decide, yes, we want to do this. Okay, we got some health goals. Yes, we got financial goals. And here's how we're going to take action in those goals. Just like we said, first weekend of every month, or every 12-week year, excuse me. So this, we'll do it 4 times this year. We're going to do an event for finances, for money, for creating something beneficial that creates cash flow, his creation code, and plan the 12-week year out in that time. And again, that's beneficial. And then we have health. So we're going to do fitness stuff, a target, an activity, and then relationship stuff. Well, we're going to host events every month in relationship. Will we all of them happen. We're just setting it as a target to begin with, right? Doesn't mean it will or won't, or we've, if things come up, we can adapt. Again, it's giving everyone something to work towards. It's like church every Sunday. There's a reason behind that. Like, it's beneficial. People have something to look forward to every week to meet with God. I know you can meet with God other ways, but some people need that. So again, I'm saying these are beneficial things, and we get to come together and united in it, and then we get to be an example of leading others. And again, the thing that's so interesting, and this is I've proven it, and Chantel's proven it over and over. If she had a problem with it or wanted to do something different and didn't agree with it, she would tell me, and then I would change it. It's never about me saying, no, it's my way or the highway. Right. It sometimes feels that way because I'm such a great promoter and I'm a sales guy. I'm like, woo, enthusiastic and motivated. Woo, woo, woo. But the truth is, there is so many things that Chantel changes because I trust her. Because I get all excited about it, I present it to her, and she's like, well, I think maybe we should do it this way. And I'm like, dang it.
Or things that he didn't think about,
Yeah.
that
You're right.
we have to navigate through.
Yep.
And so,
The negotiation process. We
it,
go back
it
and forth.
absolutely is a negotiation. So he's anchoring, right, in what he wants to do. And then I have to anchor in maybe some reality.
That's true.
And then we figure it out together. Yeah, we figure it out. But it doesn't. I think the biggest thing is to not shut down a man who has a goal, who wants to work towards something and is feeling energized towards that. So, I think women, as women, we have to be careful. I have to be careful to not shut that down, because it's beautiful. It's their design. It's inspiring. And yes, I can have a dose of reality or of understanding of, timelines, and maybe this won't work here, or you know what I mean? But my how is important. And it's a strength and a weakness of mine that I can sometimes shut it down, and I have to like take a step back and realize, oh shit, okay, that's not what I want to do. That wasn't my intention. And, we've had those conversations where, he's like, oh, I feel like you just shut me down. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm so sorry. Like, that's not my intention. My intention is to, really support the big goal.
Yeah.
Right. Is to support, all of the things in the process. And that's communication. That's why we have to have those conversations. Both his excitement needs to feel freedom to explore the possibilities, and my practicality sometimes needs to be explored, right? And we have to figure out together how to empower both of them.
Yeah.
Because they're both very valuable.
It's good.
They're what we bring to the table as partners, as teammates, as spouses.
That's right.
As a family. We're leading a family, we're leading a community. Yeah. Like, we have to embrace both of them, right? It can't be my way or the highway. And in any, whether it's him or me, like, that's not what marriage is designed to look like. It's designed to be a blessing and a support in our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of leadership and the freedom of having multiple leaderships. Many hands make light work, right? And then you don't have to be at every single event, but it's like, this is what we're doing because again, our goal is to do more in less time, not shrink back, but rise up as shining conquerors this year in 2026. So what does that look like? Like, obviously, if we want to grow our community, we've got to do more. We're going to have more activities. We're going to empower more leaders. We're going to have more things happening throughout the year because we want to see our community grow. We want to see ourselves grow. And then we can release control of the outcome too, right? Create things, design an event, and then allow our leadership to move forward and go, even if we're not there, because that's part of scaling and duplication. We can't be everywhere all the time, but we can empower and release. And that's the power of leadership. So it's good. But it starts at home, starts with myself, and then it moves on to others. So tomorrow we're going to talk more about communication, how to communicate those things, develop your leadership skills, men, and continue to find love Because literally that's what love comes from, is you got to have the attraction. How do you become attractive to a woman to even start the process? Me, my mind, body, soul, spirit. What am I doing to improve myself? Is going to be very attractive to a woman.
And what ways are you exercising the muscle of confidence? Consciously, daily. Like, are you consciously doing something that you may feel insecure about, may not feel confident about, but to build a muscle of confidence?
It's good.
We all need that. Like, we need to be intentional with creating those little, strengthening those muscles of confidence.
That's right.
Right.
Well, that's a wrap for today. We are the Amish Matchmakers, and you haven't memorized yet. Try it.
We help Amish singles find godly relationships, marriages, creating a legacy rooted in faith and freedom.
Woo! Good job, babe. I love you. Way to go. All right. See you later. Have a great day. Thanks for being here.